Welcome artists and art fans of all ages. I'm Jessie Wozniak, Curator of Education at Artis Naples, home of the Baker Museum and the Naples Philharmonic. Today, we're exploring landscape and cityscape paintings to learn about how artists show perspective. Then we'll make one-point perspective drawings using a few simple steps. Let's check out some art. Imagine you're walking along the boardwalk in this peaceful scene. If you could stand where the artist Claude Monet stood while he was painting this picture, you would have seen the water, sky, buildings, and people from the same perspective as him. This painting captures the details of the scene using something called one-point perspective. It starts with the horizon line, which is where the sky meets the land, or in this case, the water. Then you look for the point where the lines of the scene all seem to come together. The boardwalk, the shoreline, the fence, and the buildings all create visual lines that demonstrate perspective. Did you notice that the objects, like the stairs, get smaller as they get closer to that one point on the horizon line? This also helps show a realistic perspective. Now we'll look at a cityscape painted by Vincent van Gogh. You can't actually see the horizon line or the vanishing point because it's hidden by the buildings. But if you look carefully and follow the lines like we did before, you'll see that this is another example of one-point perspective. Look at the tops of the buildings and the rows of tables. Do you see any other lines that lead you to that one point in the painting? The next cityscape shows perspective in a different way. This painting doesn't have one vanishing point, it has two. If you follow the lines created by the building in the background, that will lead you to those 2 points. Do you see the two main people in the front of this painting? As you look further into the distance, the people become smaller and smaller. Where the people are placed in the scene is also important. They help to create an imaginary line from the bottom right corner to the vanishing point on the left side of the scene. Let's keep exploring how artists use perspective in their artwork. The scene, created by Oscar Blumner, is painted as if you are looking out at the cityscape from a tall building. The realistic perspective gives this painting structure and balance. Is there anything about this picture that doesn't look realistic? Have you ever seen a green sky? Sometimes artists choose different colors than you might see in real life. The buildings, bridge, boats, and other details are also simplified into basic shapes. This style of art is quite different from the others that we explored, but the use of perspective is still important. Now it's time to use what we've learned about perspective to create our own one-point perspective cityscape. For supplies, we need a piece of paper, a pencil, an eraser, and a ruler or other straight edge. First, using the ruler or straight edge, draw a horizontal line across the whole paper. It could be near the center of the paper or higher or lower, depending on how much sky or land you want to include. I'm making my drawing with more sky, so I'll draw my horizon line a bit lower. Next, make a small dot somewhere on that line. This will be the vanishing point. Now draw a diagonal line from the vanishing point to the bottom right corner of the paper. Next, draw a line from the vanishing point to the top corner of the paper. Repeat the process with the left side of the paper too. You can add more lines to guide your drawing once you decide what you want to include in your cityscape. Will there be a road, street lights, trees, or a fence? When you start adding your objects to the scene, remember, use the lines as a guide to draw smaller objects in the distance and larger objects close up. When you finish sketching your buildings and other objects, erase the lines that you used to guide your drawing and darken the lines that you want to stand out. If you want a more realistic drawing, you can also add shading and other details to your artwork. I hope you enjoyed learning about artists' use of perspective in their cityscapes and landscapes. Now that you know the basics, you can get creative with your own artwork. Please be sure to check out artisnaples.org to learn more about our programs. Thank you!